So we planned Anusha's journey in 2 separate phases. And in both phases, we had a specific North Star goal. Anusha's whole POV on her fitness journey was overtly sensitive and outcome oriented. For example, if she had worked X amount during the week on her fitness journey and she was like doing everything right, she's like, I must see end result on the scale. Now, we all know that PCOS management doesn't look like that because we first need to work with the hormones and get the body to feel safe again. And then the second battle was the fact that if something broke in her routine, like if someone came in, there was like sort of a blip of extra pressure at work, or someone said something to her, she would just spiral out into this emotional eating pattern, which was very hard for us to pull her out of from. So in phase 1, our North Star goal for Anusha was not rapid fat loss. It was to make her body feel safe again. We wanted to bring her inflammatory load down and also teach her some real stress management techniques that went beyond, just go take a walk or meditate for 10 minutes. Only once her body feels safe again, right, we saw a reduction in her hormonal parameters, we saw her hunger calm down, we saw digestion improve, and the scale started just dropping weight like this naturally. You might be wondering, why did we just not dive directly into a calorie deficit with her? Well, because she was already in such an underfed and stressed state because of the chronic dieting, that even if we pushed her into a deficit, the results simply would not be this good. So phase 1, which was about 6 to 7 weeks long, we split her goals into 2 buckets. First was hormonal improvements. We wanted to stabilize her blood sugar, reduce her glucose fluctuations, improve her insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, bloating, fatigue, and also boost her satiety signaling, right? Like work on her leptin resistance so that she could feel satisfied from the meals that she was eating. So this would reduce some of the bottomless hunger that she was feeling. And the second bucket that we wanted to fix were nutrition-specific improvements, like especially around her, stopping her restrict binge cycle, reducing her nighttime cravings, her cravings for something sugary constantly, and helping her have more meal consistency during the week, So she's not skipping meals randomly, overeating on some days, undereating on some days. To achieve both of these goals, we had to update 3 different pillars iteratively. So we had her workouts, nutrition, and her habits. So on the workout side, she was hitting it really hard, 6 days in a week on some days, couple of times in a week on some other days. So we decided to even all of this out. We took out HIIT and excessive cardio completely. We told her to do some more home workouts instead of going to the gym because she was not being able to be consistent because of her recovery, because of her slow recovery. So we replaced it with some low impact home workouts, very short, 30 to 40 minutes, something that was suited to her own fitness levels. The reason we avoided HIIT was because her cortisol levels were already very high. We needed her body to get stronger in stamina and in recovery capacity. The goal was progressively overloading the workout so gradually that Anusha barely felt it. But her body adapted every single week and got stronger. The low impact workouts at home, right, they actually promoted a nervous system friendly environment, which her intense gym training and group classes were not able to do, as they focused more on excessive calorie burn. On the nutrition side, we included more protein-rich meals. Previously, she was hitting around 50 to 60 grams of protein because she had no idea how to incorporate more protein into her diet. So we introduced more protein powder-based options like protein pancakes, protein muffins in the morning, more eggs, essentially all the meals that she enjoyed. The meal plans were designed to be hormone-friendly first, and they were built directly off her blood work. We implemented controlled carbohydrate timing, which means that she was eating carbs before and after her workout more so than randomly throughout the day. This helped her reduce her glucose fluctuations and directly improved her insulin sensitivity. Protein was distributed throughout the day, something that we called as protein pacing. This helped her a lot with not overloading her digestive system. Nothing was really cut out. She was eating wheat, rice, she was eating her South Indian meals. Everything was included but more so in controlled portions and in a way that really supported her hormones. So she never felt like she was starving or deprived of anything. And also, we included convenience meals for her and an emergency contingency plan as well, especially on days when she didn't have meal prep ready. So this happened once where she had no meal prep for 2 days straight, and then she went and had this custom Chipotle bowl that we designed for her, with controlled rice, controlled beans, veggies, no sour cream. And that really helped her understand that, okay, she can eat healthy outside as well. This took a lot of stress off of her. Nobody had ever given her that permission before. And for supplements, we had the standard protocol of turmeric, CoQ10, omega-3s, vitamin D3K2, again, all built on top of her existing blood reports. For the third pillar of habits, we had to reframe her thinking completely from perfectionism to just consistency. I kept telling her that instead of being 100% on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then being 20% on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I want you to be 70% all the 5 days of the week. There's no need to be a perfect role model on a few days at all. The body does not understand that degree of intensity. It responds to daily stimulus. Remember, getting it done is better than getting it done perfectly. We also taught her some meal prepping strategies because she had these blockers around eating stale food and wondering if that was going to hurt her health. But in actuality, meal prep was one of the easiest ways for her to show up consistently for her body. The recipes were super simple, just 5 to 6 ingredients, nothing fancy, no need for complex 20 ingredient recipes at all. This severely reduced the cooking load on her, and she was able to prep all her meals for the week just within a few hours every Sunday. During this phase 1, we also helped her identify her own stress rhythms throughout the week. For example, she knew that every Thursday and Friday, she felt like this massive stress-related craving because there was just too much going on work on those days. So being aware of those things and having contingency meals, backup meals prepared for days like that changed the game for her. She never felt like she had to scramble last minute because that scramble was actually promoting all of the restrict binge cycles. And you know what? The biggest takeaway from phase 1 was that we never really had to work on her sleep directly. Her sleep actually fell magically into place because we fixed her workouts, her nutrition, and her habits. So she often would tell us that I just hit the bed and within 10 minutes I'm off. I really don't need any supplements or I don't need any scrolling or anything to put me to sleep. And that was amazing because this reduced her recovery load. So she started recovering a lot faster and was able to show up for workouts more regularly. So by the end of phase 2, one of the biggest shifts I saw was the way she showed up to the calls. She had a lot more energy, her jawline started showing up. The fat beneath her ears had started receding, leading to more open neck and clavicle. We started noticing that there was a lot more optimism in the way that she was thinking.